Darling versus Nistic, the one that's in the forefront of mind. We started out strong and we're finishing strong here. Meanwhile, up here in the top left side of Heavy Rain, the greens are from Miraculous Gaming. He is Towelie. And down here in the bottom right, the red Protoss from Alloy Esports. He is TheDounat. You ever notice how a Nexus crystal just kind of glows with a warm, inviting come hither? And Tally actually making a bit of a mistake there. Thought he was on his hatchery, hit select larva. Accidentally hit stop. He's actually done that twice now, 3 times. That kid's why you don't spam. You don't spam box and just spam keys. That APM is not that important. You want to keep your hands warm, that's one thing, but you run that risk of doing a couple of oops moments there, and that's actually going to cost Towelie several trips of minerals. It's about 1 trip per drone, 10 drones, that's 50 minerals. Goes for the pool first. Meanwhile, Donut going for a forge in his expansion. Ready to pylon block its opponent's expansion. The probe is trying to do work. It's actually going to run away, and the hatchery will go down. No cannons being made off of that forge because the Nexus is down. Donut opening fast, expand all 5 games except game 2. We'll see if Tally decides to go for a 3rd hatchery off of this. He's been forced in a couple of his games due to a pylon block. Did not have that kind of issue this game. Well, back at the ranch, Donut just getting his gases, expanding up, droning up, probing up, whatever you want to call it. Playing economically. 3rd hatchery goes down at 410. First queen is out, gonna lay down and inject. No gases yet. And Tally looking to try and get a probe. Meanwhile, Donut content to sit behind as well. There's no way these Zerglings are actually gonna get through. Or they should not get through. Drone uses the secret magical password. Like in the Breach and Pacific Rim. You have the correct genetic code, you can move through it. Excuse me. Tally content to get his 3 bases up. They are up, and 1 more queen on the way. He's got 2. He needs a 3rd. Gonna start creeping out. And so far, Donut hasn't picked his tech choice. Is he gonna go for a Robo or a Stargate? Drops down a pylon. The little digital pixelations form into a giant wormhole of doom, which spews out lightning and blue energy of death. And then turn into a magical shield with runes. More digital stuff. And he's gone for a Robo. Okay. Interesting choice. +1 is already about halfway done. What else are you going to go for here, Donut? It's an early +1. He might be going for a immortal timing. 4 gases, that's a lot of gas. Could go for a pretty sick immortal sentry play. He needs more gateways though if he actually wants to do that. Alright, drops 2. Heavy rain, bit tricky with force fields. Certain areas can be cut off with force fields, but a lot of it's pretty wide open. 2 more gateways, doesn't have any more just yet. Meanwhile, Roachwarren and Lair are about to finish too. Speed delayed here for Towelie. One Zot going to take out a couple of Lings. Not going to get any farther than that now. And just the 2 gateways going to get scouted. And Immortal is on the way, and +1 just finished. Donut going for a 3rd base, in fact. So he just needs some gas and a couple of Immortals, and he might lose a sentry here. He's gonna lose a sentry. Oh, a bit sloppy there. Now this shift core going to save the day for the rest of these. But the second wave of Zerglings might just be too much. Photon cannon though. And the force field will actually save the day there. The Immortal with its giant red LED laser face. And I mean, that's fucking artillery right there. Screw guns, let's just mount 2 cannons on the thing and call it a day. 55 damage versus armor, my god. I mean, that's like a Thor right there. Meanwhile, Enduring Locust on the way. Infestation Pit was gotten. We might see a similar game to game number 4. Hopefully we see the whole thing this time. Perhaps Towelie and Donut willing to reenact it. A reminder that we may see another rematch between these players. The winner of this goes to the final. Loser goes down to the loser match to play the winner of Darling and Hooligan. The winner of that gets a second chance at the winner of this. And no matter how you cut that, unless Darling and Towelie make it, it's going to be a bit of a grudge match and a revenge match. Swarm hosts are on the way, 3 being made and another 6 on top of that. So 18 locusts at a time. 4th base goes down over on the far left side. Towelie well aware swarm hosts are in play. Enduring Locusts had finished. But you know what? Hasn't gone into a double robo yet. Just going with the 1 robo. Getting 4 more gateways out in front to kind of buffer this Nexus. Needs that Nexus up to keep the production going. Spire on the way behind this. Need air attacks to take out Locust. And Locust always looks so weird. Blobbity bubbly bubbly. Blorp. And out they come. Now let's check to see what the range on these Locusts is. Actually, Enduring Locusts. Oh, actually they have finished. It's weird. The thing was not actually correct, I don't think. Not quite enough there. And that's actually, that's a bit of an error. It's only the 10 range. And actually these swarm hosts out of position. Oh, got very aggressive with them. And the Blink Stalkers actually moving in forward. A couple of Lings coming in on the side here. And the Locusts come out defensively. 5 more swarm hosts on the back end of this. And you know what, that's not a great angle. A lot of units going down. A sentry, full energy sentry, almost full energy sentry goes down. And you know what, now Donut in a bit of trouble. His units caught out of position off the back end there. A few roaches and some Lings. Meanwhile, on the right side, looks like a couple of Stalkers are trying to be fancy. Thing with Swarm Hosts, they're not terribly mobile. Very long range, very, very good siege unit, but still a siege unit. here we go. Swarm hosts are here. Not enough Colossi yet. And you know what? With no force fields and just 2 Colossi, I don't see that there's really that much here for Donut. I mean, Towelie, he's gonna lose the hatchery, but Donut has no recall. And if he's not careful, he might actually lose a Colossi. He'll lose a Zealot. And actually a really well-timed Locust Wave here. Going to take out a couple of Stalkers, I believe. Yeah, a couple of them. Not enough, not a lot. What is a Corruptor count at? That's a lot of Corruptors. And as long as they hug the Swarm Hosts, those Corruptors could do a lot of damage. Need to focus fire down those Colossi immediately. Gonna get 1, bring the Colossi number back to 2. Might actually bring the Colossi number down to 1. Here's the problem with Swarm Hosts with Enduring Locust upgrade. They take forever to actually remake Locust. And there go the Locusts. They're going to be remade and kill off a ton of this Protoss army, but a lot of Swarm Hosts went down. Is it going to be enough, though? The Swarm Host Locust actually taking out almost all of the Stalkers. And I think one more wave of those will clear it up. The problem is if he loses the 3rd base, is it really worth it? I don't think it is. And, you know, I don't think that 3rd base will be salvageable. No, it will not. And this is a problem now. As Towelie's down to 2 bases, yes, he has a very formidable army. And can actually start laying siege here. What is his Swarm Host count? It's going to have 2 on top of 9, 11. Right now, 18 Swarm Hosts. And an Immortal actually going to get caught out here. Oh, but that is a lot of Stalkers. Immortal goes down. Oh, Blink Stalkers, Blink on top of that. Here come some of these Swarm Hosts, though. Locusts get made, and they can actually target fire down those rocks and take them out with impunity. Rocks only buy 1 attack's worth of times. A pylon goes down here, but you know, that's a lot of roaches being lost here. Towelie falling apart a little bit. Maybe overmade Corruptors. Actually did overmade Corruptors. Needs to go up to Hive and make something out of those Corruptors. Meanwhile, some Locusts actually going to get some free Stalkers. Stalkers trying to see. And they actually spawn and blink on top of the Locust. That's definitely not what you want to do as a Protoss player with just Stalkers against Locusts. The mobility here is strong, but is it enough? I don't know. Pylon somehow got into the main base of Towelie. Where are the 14 of them? 4th base over here going to be attacked yet again. It's a lot of Locusts. And they can fight. The problem is Locusts out DPS Stalkers by 1.5 miles. A couple of Roaches going to go over here, try and save the base. They will not. 4th base going to go down again, and this is really a problem now. Towelie, he's on 3 base versus 3 base. He really doesn't have the economy he wants. Another wave of Locusts trying to find these Stalkers. Meanwhile, Donut taking another base over at the right side. This is starting to turn into a very long PVZ. Thank you everybody who followed here. 591, looking to hit 600 by the end of the day. A couple of them. This 4th base is going to go down again. And the Locust Swarm is actually out of position. But you know what? If it goes to the right side here, and it is, and actually the Colossi are a little out of position here, and Stalkers are starting to go down en masse. And actually the Blink Stalkers, the Stalkers blink over the Locusts, but the Locusts miss all of the Colossi. Now taking out the Colossi, 1 Swarm Host will go down, and all of those Corruptors really coming in handy right about now. Towelie can't take a 4th base, but he's securing these three pretty well. And with +1 Carapace, it's just going to make these Locusts even stronger. 14 damage a shot. +1 Carapace. Really needs to consider taking a base in a more defensible position. I don't know that there's another one that he can take. The way this army is moving around. I mean, Blink Stalker army, not terribly strong, but extremely mobile. Extremely mobile. Psionic Storm on the way. There's no Templar being made just yet. And a couple more Locusts gonna try and zoom up here. Where are the rest of those Locusts going? They're coming around the left side, gonna try and defend this base here. Meanwhile, Locusts, are they gonna get that gateway? They will not. And a couple of Overlords. Bit of an odd pathing here. And the Roaches might be able to buy some time for the Locusts to close the gap. But in fact, the Stalkers are bypassing the entire Zerg army. This might actually be what Towelie needed. Well, actually, the Stalkers blink away. The Stalker numbers are really dangerously low. What is the actual count at? 21 Stalkers to 6 Roaches and 14 Swarm Hosts. And oh, geez, this is awkward. Loses a Stalker there. What is the move speed of these? See, 188 to 295. I mean, Locusts can't technically catch Stalkers, but blink onto the Stalkers, and actually a couple of Locusts there were blunk onto, and in fact, Donut's actually in some trouble. He might have overstayed his blink there. Has to bail out here. What does Donut have? He doesn't have any real high-tech units. Getting a lot of Storms, though. Storms are pretty good at taking out Locusts. I mean, Locusts only have 65 hit points. Storms do 80. And I mean, some Storms on top of these Swarm Hosts would be a pretty nice pickup. But this 4th base under siege, that's going to go down in a matter of seconds. It's just a matter of, will it take 1 volley or 2? I think it's going to take 1. Yes, it will only take 1. Perfectly timed. A couple of Roaches and a Queen, as well as a few Locusts here, and that base will stay secure for Towelie. So Towelie really stabilizing now. And the onus is on Donut. Try and figure a way through these Swarm Hosts. A lot of Archons. Archon's not that great against Locusts, though. They deal a lot of damage to bio. I mean, 43 per shot, but Locusts do a lot of damage in the meantime. Has to be very careful where he places these Swarm Hosts, though, with Storm on the field. Oh, and in fact, he's actually going to... Yes, in fact, the Storms go on the Swarm Hosts. The Locusts not quite... well, you know what? Here, this is a bad angle for Donut. And in fact, a misblink right into the Roaches. Trying to storm on top of all the Corruptors. Not enough Storms. The Corruptors go down. Well, the Corruptors don't go down. The Colossi go down. Does Donut really have enough here? I don't think he does. He's in a lot of trouble. 199 to 96 supply. Towelie might just be able to push through to the grand finals here. After being down 0-2, can he come back with a 3-0? That base on the left side never going to get up. Donut really kind of starved for high-tech units. He's gone into Templar. But he's not really had a way to get at these Swarm Hosts. Taking out as much creep as he can possibly muster. One's Locust, never going to get there. An interesting choice now as Donut goes into Stargate, double Stargate. Void Rays would be a good idea here. There's not a lot of Corruptors left. I mean, there's, how many is that? That's 10 Corruptors, and 6 Void Rays will shred that. And there's really not much left here for the Zerg as far as air power. 2 Void Rays at a time, if you can get that up to a respectable number. But an awkward angle here. He might get pincered. He might actually get pincered. Fungal goes down, but a big storm on everything. A blink onto the Hydralisk force. He can't lose everything here, though. One more storm. He's going to take out a lot of Hydras, but Donut really doesn't have anything military-wise left. He's trying to gather what units he can. Really good position there for Towelie. Heavy Rain, an excellent map for this kind of play. A lot of direct angles. You know, a very little blink micro going on here. Gonna take out a couple of those, and actually the Corruptors are in a bit of an awkward spot. Why are those Corruptors over there? Could actually kill off a lot of those, and that would make the Void Ray transition actually significantly stronger. Donut does have enough for Void Rays, but he's actually making enough Stalkers to replenish what he lost. Meanwhile, this fourth base going to go down again, as well as a million probes. So many probes die. 38 workers killed so far today. And you know what? The Void Rays are enough. Well, okay, they're not enough. I was going to say the Void Rays are enough to really push this back, but I think Donut's going to fall down to lose the match. I think Towelie might have done the impossible. Void Rays finally go down. Swarm hosts are walking forward. GG! Towelie comes back down 0-2 to take a 3-2 over Donut.